Baby, we could have President Brashani's mantra be, just graduate, baby. And that's tonight's point of view. I want to hear from you right now. What do you feel is going on in the NDSU Athletic Department? Text or email me right now by using the info at the bottom of your screen. And with us right now, live from Minot. Interesting guest because he actually was denied an open records request from NDSU. The owner of StandingBlog.com, Rob Port. Rob, thanks for joining us and being with us tonight. So I got to ask you, in your opinion, what do you feel is going on in the NDSU Athletic Department?
Chris, you really got to wonder if there's a culture of accountability. Here, you read the NDSU website, you read their mission statement. It's not just about education. I mean, they talk about shaping character and things like that. You have to wonder, is that going on in the football program? We just, just before the show, is that Travis Beck, his defense attorney, is saying that there's a lot more to the story. He's going to go through the criminal justice system, and we'll see what comes out of that. But one of the most disturbing things about the report was that he fled from officers. According to the police reports, there was a Fargo, one of the police sergeants had to actually go down the street and get him. He apparently struggled with that officer. What's disturbing about that is that last year, Travis Beck was also charged with resisting arrest. Ultimately, those charges were dropped. But it becomes disturbing when you think about you also have members of the NDSU football team who are guilty of the petition fraud, who are not showing up for their community service. You have multiple problems here with the football team and with accountability. You really have to wonder, are they building a culture of accountability at NDSU? And I'm not so sure they are.
So let me ask you this, Rob. I don't know how much you heard of my opening segment, but, you look at, obviously, the attorney Bruce Quick saying, hey, there's a lot more to this story than meets the eye, as you just mentioned. Well, then why is this dude running off? Why not just stand with the cops and explain the story to him? So my question to you is, this is a repeat offense. There's many things going on. And I used to watch the Bison football team last year and say, gosh, you know what? Coach Bull's like Nick Saban. I mean, these guys are so well coached. They're so well disciplined. They don't turn the ball over. But is there a lack of leadership going on in the culture of the NDSU Athletic Department where you see these repeat offenses, also with the softball hazing situation?
I think you're right. And also, when you look at, you talk about the softball hazing situation, where NDSU announced that the several softball players were going to be punished because of a hazing party. Well, when we came to accountability for the football players, who, we're talking about thousands of forged signatures for petitions. Initially the universities tried to dismiss the issue. Tried to suggest, oh, it's not a big deal. We're not going to suspend any of these players. Then they had to backtrack from that. Ultimately, when the players were convicted, one of them got suspended. The rest of them didn't. And when I filed an open records request with North Dakota State University to find out what, if any, disciplinary actions these students got, I ended up having to complain to the Attorney General's office. And what I got back was an opinion saying, it's sort of an Orwellian opinion, saying that because the names of the players had been reported in the media, I wasn't allowed to know whether or not they had been disciplined. If their names hadn't been reported in the media, then I would be allowed to know whether or not they were disciplined. It's just strange there. I mean, at the end of the day, the university does a much better job of assuring the public that there is accountability for these students who do these things.
Well, speaking of that, Rob, I want to interrupt because we just got a few minutes here, but speaking of that, so where's President Brashani? The guy didn't speak out on Shrivani. The guy's not speaking out on this. We, the people of North Dakota, again, he may not want to hear this, but he works for us. We're paying the dude $320,000 a year. Why not just come out and get in front of this thing and stand up and be a leader and say, hey, here's the deal. Here's the actions we're going to take to discipline these young men and women.
It seems like the only time that they step out, when somebody like Brashani steps out, is when they want to attack people who are criticizing the university system. One of the big criticisms of Chancellor Shrivani was that he went before legislators and talked about NDSU graduation rates. These guys, they don't like accountability. And it's really disappointing. I heard you mention how much tax dollars we put in the university system. We spend a lot of money on the university system. Really get that these guys don't think that they work for the taxpayer. That's what we need to demand for them, is accountability.
Rob, thanks so much for your time. We had a little bit of a tech issue there, so we'll be sure and clean that up next time. But look, one of the things you got to understand, when you're playing at the Division I AA or the FCS level, there's always that balance. You want to go out there and win football games, which, again, the program is doing an outstanding job at doing. But sometimes when you find those guys are what I call tweeners between the 1A and the 1AA guys, They may be outstanding athletes, but there always are sometimes some grades, some character issues. Look, I've played at both levels. I know. I've been in locker rooms. I understand. I get it. And so what we've got to figure out here as a community is what's going to be that balance. Do we continue to go after guys that are going to help us win football games, or do we find guys that maybe aren't as talented, but yet also have maybe a little bit more character, a little bit better in the classroom? And again, part of that goes back to the leadership in the AD department and say, hey, guys, this is the line. You cross this line, you're Gandhi. Too bad, so sad. You're no longer playing, getting a championship ring. Be sure and stay with us as always. Let us know your thoughts and how you feel about this. But you got to stay with us, because coming up in a minute, we've got an amazing segment. You will not believe what our U.S. military is now offended by. You can share your point of view by emailing us or text us. We'll be right back.